I never thought he'd actually leave. Men don't leave women like me. Not after everything I gave him. But he did. Quietly. Completely. After he found out, I watched the messages come in. From her. Her name flashing like fire. She knew about me. And still took him. I wanted to hate him. But all I could feel was the burn of being replaced. Because I cheated, yes. But I never stopped loving him. Now, he wouldn't answer. Wouldn't even speak my name. He thought I was the mistake. But I was about to prove I was unforgettable. He moved across town. New place. New girl. New life. But I knew his patterns. When he left. When he came home. She opened the curtains in his kitchen like she belonged there. I memorized her face. Her laugh. The way she kissed him. At the door. It was supposed to be me. Still me. I started parking 2 streets over. Just to feel closer. Not to do anything. Not yet. People said I let go too slowly. But how do you let go of the only thing that made you real? Especially when you ruined it with your own hands. I started wearing the perfume he loved. The one he bought me in Paris. It didn't smell like memory. It smelled like war. Every night I dressed like I was still his. Every morning I woke up in a bed that remembered him too well. I saw him in every reflection. Every corner of the apartment. And still I blamed her. Not him. Never him. Because I broke us, yes, but she buried us. So I did the only thing I could do. I made a plan. And I promised myself, this time, he'd feel it too. I told myself I wasn't stalking, just checking in. But I knew his schedule better than she ever would. I saw her leave around 9. Jim Bagorte. Smiling. Confident. That confidence used to be mine. I watched the lights in their bedroom turn off. Then on. Then off again. I pictured them in bed. Tangled, laughing at the life I lost. It made my stomach twist. My fingers clench. He used to whisper things to me after dark. I wonder if he recycled the lines. The longer I sat there, the more I wanted to break something. Instead, I drove home, but not before leaving a note on her windshield. I didn't sign my name, but she'd know who it was from. The letter wasn't cruel. Not directly. Just reminders that I was there first. That I knew things she didn't. I told her about the scar on his shoulder. The song that made him cry once. The kind of things that make someone question everything. I sealed it with a kiss. Literally. Red lipstick smudged the envelope. I left it at her yoga studio, slipped between her bag and mat. It wasn't revenge. It was a warning. She was in my story now, not the other way around. And I wanted her to feel it. He didn't expect to see me. That much was obvious. His eyes narrowed. His mouth said nothing. I held out the photo, one of us, from before. Happy. You threw this away, I said. But I didn't. He didn't take it. Just stared at it like it was a weapon. I asked if he loved her. He didn't answer. But silence is its own confession, isn't it? I wasn't angry. I was hollow. He started to close the door. Slowly. Carefully. And in that moment, I knew. He had truly left me. Long before I ever cheated. She texted me. Just 2 words. Stay away. Ye shit. I read it 100 times. Each one colder. She had no idea who she was dealing with. I built that man. Fed him. Healed him. Kept him alive when he was nothing. She walked in when the dust had already settled. Now she wanted to protect him from me? I wasn't a threat. I was history. But history has teeth when you try to erase it. I picked up the phone, typed her name into search, and smiled. Everyone has a weakness. I just had to find hers. She wasn't perfect. None of them ever are. Old blog posts, college interviews, a DUI from 5 years ago. Little cracks in her flawless image. Just enough. I started sending things anonymously. To her boss, her friends. Nothing criminal. Just embarrassing. It wasn't about destroying her. Not fully. Just shaking her confidence. Making her sweat. If she started questioning herself, maybe she'd question him too. And if he saw her crack, maybe he'd remember who stood by him when he was broken. Revenge didn't have to scream. Sometimes, it just had to whisper in the right ear. I thought it would feel good, watching her fall apart a little. But as I stood there, listening to her sob in that bathroom stall, something shifted. She didn't sound arrogant. She sounded human. And for the first time, I felt something other than victory. I felt sick, because I knew that cry. That helpless, gut-deep kind of grief. I'd made someone feel it, again. And suddenly, I wasn't the wounded woman. I was the monster. I walked out before she saw me. Couldn't bear to be seen by someone I'd just broken. And in the mirror, I didn't recognize my own face. He blocked me. Everywhere. No warning. No last message. No rage. Just gone. I didn't know what broke him. The letter. The photo. Her tears. I never thought he'd shut the door completely. Even when I cheated, he left it cracked. But now, it was bolted. Locked. Buried. I stared at the message. You've been blocked by this user. It didn't feel like punishment. It felt like a funeral. Not for him. For the version of me that still believed I had a chance. And in that silence, everything started sinking in. I watched them from across the cafe. Unaware. Untouched by what I did. He looked younger than I remembered. Softer somehow. She smiled at him like he was hers. Because now, he was. There was no sign of the wreckage I caused. Maybe they'd survived it. Or maybe they just didn't let it define them. I wanted to walk over. To say sorry. To scream. To beg. But instead, I sat still. Let the coffee go cold. Because some things you break, you don't get to fix. And some people you love, you don't get to keep. Especially when you were the reason they shattered in the first place. I burned it all. The letters, the photos, the lies I wrote in ink. Not for closure, just to watch them vanish. The flames licked my fingers as if they recognized me. I stood barefoot in the sand, smoke in my lungs, guilt in my blood. The past didn't fight back. It just turned to ash. People say fire cleanses, but I still felt dirty. Maybe some sins live in your skin forever. I whispered his name once into the smoke. It didn't echo back. He was gone. Truly gone. And I was finally alone with what I'd done. They told me to introduce myself. I couldn't even say my name without choking on it. One woman shared how her husband left her. Another talked about being betrayed. When it was my turn, I said, I broke the man who loved me. No one gasped. No one judged. Just silence. A different kind of silence. One that held room for shame. I said I hurt people when I couldn't face myself. That I turned loneliness into a weapon and pointed it at the only one who stayed. I didn't cry. Not then. But I felt something shift. Just enough to keep breathing. He loved poetry. The kind no one reads anymore. I found the last book he gave me. Still had his notes in the margins. Instead of keeping it, I wrapped it in brown paper. Wrote only one word. Forgive. No. Bonsoir. I left it on a shelf in the bookstore where we met. Maybe he'll find it. Maybe he won't. It wasn't a peace offering. It was an apology I didn't deserve to deliver in person. He deserves the kind of love I couldn't give. And I need to live with that truth, even if it cuts deeper than anything he ever said. Letting go isn't romantic. It's ruin with grace, but at least it's honest. I drove out to the place we almost bought land together. The hills still looked the same, wild, open, untouched by us. I stood there, holding our last Polaroid. The day we said someday. Ye see now. But someday never came, because I burned it down first. I whispered into the wind. You were right to leave. You see. Es ante fonti min chao as shke. There was no ceremony, no dramatic end. Just a woman finally owning the wreckage she made. I let the photo slip from my hand, watched it dance through the wind and vanish. He's building something new now. Somewhere safer. Somewhere cleaner. And I'm learning to live without being forgiven. It's been 6 months. No calls. No sightings. I moved into a smaller place. Fewer windows. More quiet. People think time heals, but time just teaches you how to live with pain differently. I stopped waiting for him to forgive me. Started asking if I could forgive myself. Some days I almost believe the answer is yes. Other days I see his eyes when I close mine. But I keep writing, keep breathing, keep trying. Because even if I lost everything, I still have the truth. And for once, I'm not hiding from it. I saw them again. He was laughing. She kissed his cheek. They didn't see me, but I saw everything I destroyed, alive and moving on. There was no pain, just a tightness in my chest I couldn't name. I used to think I had to be unforgettable to matter. Now, I hope they forget me completely. They looked happy, not perfect, but safe with each other. And maybe that's all we really want in the end, to be with someone who doesn't make us question our worth. I stood up, turned away, and didn't look back. It was their story now, not mine. I come here when it gets too loud in my head. The water's still, but my reflection never is. Sometimes I whisper the things I never said to him, not to get them back, just to let them live somewhere that isn't inside me. Regret is quiet. It doesn't scream. It lingers. But so does growth. Slow, ugly, real. I press the journal to my chest. My story, finally told in full. No edits. No excuses. He won't read it. But maybe one day, I'll read it without breaking. And when I do, I'll know I survived myself